She's the most pitiful female lead I've ever seen, about to meet her end. But her husband cheated on her, and with her only friend. Cheating wasn't enough. He even killed her before she could get the inheritance. The female lead's name is Jiang Jiyuan. She anxiously arrived at the old house, but as soon as she entered, she saw the shoes he had given to Shirmi. Just as she was in shock, the sound of conversation ahead stopped her. She quietly opened the door, and saw her husband and her best friend. They were discussing how to spend her money after her death. Jiyuan suddenly made a noise, startling them both. Even Pu Minghuan's hasty explanation was useless. You think you'll just die like this? You'll get emotional damages and plaster your company with posters. You'll not only tell your families, but you'll also post it online so you'll never be able to hold your heads up again. Shirmi put on an innocent face. Jiyuan, don't be like this. Aren't we best friends? At this moment, Jiyuan was like a vengeful warrior. She thoroughly saw through this person's lies. Shirmi suddenly knelt down. Please, my family and my company. The living still have to live. You're going to die anyway. Hearing this, Jiyuan grabbed her hair. Shirmi, I'm going to kill you. Pu Minghuan panicked, and hit Jiyuan. If you're going to die, die quickly. Don't try to ruin other people's good lives. Jiyuan was shocked again. It's all because of you and your parents. You took all my money. If I had gone to the hospital earlier, I could have lived. You criminal. Even if I die, I'll take you down with me. Pu Minghuan's fist flew towards Jiyuan again. Her head hit the table. She lost consciousness. When she woke up again, she heard a familiar voice. She sat up abruptly and looked at the mirror, only to find that she was alive again, and even younger. Just as she was in disbelief, Shirmi called her. Fear filled her again. She glared at this woman. What a hypocritical bitch. Jiyuan almost vomited at her concerned words. She flung Zuma's hand away and said, Don't talk to me. Don't even look at me. Shirmi muttered. This couple is still together after my death. This is the first time I've seen this disgusting face properly. Jiyuan wanted to kill her right there. But suddenly a voice called her. She immediately recognized Yang Dan. Wu Zhang is looking for you. Go see him quickly. In her 10 years of clear memories, only this person was a blur. That was Bu Zhang Liu Jihe. He gave her a document, and told her to leave work. As she was about to leave, he suddenly grabbed her arm. Liu Xiang instinctively pulled her back. Are you okay? You look. Jiyuan went home determined to leave this place. If I have to relive this hellish time, I absolutely won't accept it. She didn't know why she was alive again, and things were happening that weren't in her memory. Just as she was thinking, Jiyuan fell to the ground. She remembered falling in front of Bu Zhang 10 years ago. When she looked out the window, it was spring. She touched her wrist in shock, and found a missed call from Pu Minghuan. Jiyuan didn't know what to do. Maybe today is just a one-day dream. Why 10 years ago? Wu Zhang called again, saying there were some new documents for her to handle when she came to work. But Jiyuan didn't know if she would have it tomorrow. However, she felt something in her pocket. When she took it out, it was something the taxi driver had given her in her past life. Tears streamed down Jiyuan's face. It's Dad. This isn't a miracle, or a second chance. But Dad's last gift to me. I'm really back 10 years ago. This time, I'll live well. I'll be happy. Pu Minghuan looked at the missed calls. He didn't know what had happened to Jiyuan. Shirmi suddenly said, Let's get takeout from that fried chicken place. But Bu Zhang said, Mr. Pu Minghuan, it's still working hours. Please focus on your work until after work. Shirmi picked up her phone, and looked at Jiyuan's missed calls. She smirked. You're testing my patience now. Jiyuan returned to the old house, and changed the doorbell. Because today is the day my life starts over. Jiyuan returned to her home after 10 years, and looked at the pictures of her parents. It brought back memories. Come to think of it, the person I loved always confessed to Shirmi in the end. But what's important to me now is this. She looked at the numbers in her account and started to cry. Just as she was wondering how to make money, Jiyuan remembered Pu Minghuan, who was obsessed with stocks. All the stocks he bought would skyrocket. It was now, although he later lost everything and had to rely on my company. Suddenly, she remembered a text message. This guy who said muscles are disgusting. Why did he think of buying fried chicken? Although Jiyuan wanted to ignore him, she had to settle the score first. Jiyuan met Pu Minghuan at the snack stall. While Pu Minghuan was looking at his phone, he was suddenly called by Bu Zhang. The sample report due today isn't finished yet. And have you checked the samples? I should have received 10, but I only have 9. Pay attention. This is a company, not your homework station. Reorganize it and bring it back to me. Pu Minghuan's face turned pale. What a demanding boss. Shirmi discreetly gave him a note. He's really good at making people happy. And what he does is cute too. I guess he'll have to go down and clean up the car early. Although Ji-Yoon is used to a messy car, I can't let Shirmi ride in a car like that. If it were Ji-Yoon, she wouldn't mind even if I made a mistake at work. I feel a bit bad for Ji-Yoon at times like this. Ji-Yoon also felt strange, constantly doubting her past self. Ji-Yoon, back 10 years ago, finally saw her best friend clearly. She even wanted her man. Ji-Yoon sat at her desk, constantly examining herself. Since it's the Last Supper, I can't just go out like this. She took out her curling iron, and her phone fell from the vibrations. As Ji-Yoon reached for it, her hand stopped at the power strip. She remembered sitting at her desk in her past life. After turning on the curling iron, she reached for her phone because of a text message. The phone pulled on the cord, and the falling curling iron burned her. But this time, Ji-Yoon picked it up carefully. Her wrist was clean. This further confirmed Ji-Yoon's thoughts. Fate could be changed. Pyu Ming-hwan texted that he had brought her snacks. Memories resurfaced. Back then, I didn't know that those two were so close. But Ji-Yoon also thought of the best way to get revenge. The pathetic love you two would harm me to protect. I, from 10 years ago, will protect it for you. Shirmi, you marry Pyu Ming-hwan for me. At the snack stall, Shirmi and Pyu Ming-hwan finally arrived. He still had a smiling face, and he still sat down so quickly. Even the way he pretended to be worried was the same as before. As Shirmi played with her hair, Ji-Yoon noticed the earring. He gave me the same one, saying it was a best friend pair. I didn't even know it didn't suit me at all, and I wore it everywhere. Pyu Ming-hwan suddenly said, surprised, you're friends. Ji-Yoon hasn't had many friends since she was young, so she's always been with me. We used to be about the same height, but Ji-Yoon grew so tall, like a giant. I was so envious. She's the most amazing girl I've ever met. She even compared hand sizes with Pyu Ming-hwan in front of Ji-Yoon, while saying that Ji-Yoon was as tall as a giant. We both ate in the school cafeteria. What were you doing when I was growing this tall? Shirmi then raised her glass. Let's cheers. This is the first time the three of us are drinking together this year. Although Ji-Yoon didn't want to be with them, she decided to observe first, to see what they were up to. As soon as Ji-Yoon reached for her glass, Shirmi made a disgusted face. I only like things that Ji-Yoon likes. Ji-Yoon, you really love chicken feet, don't you? Are they that good? Ji-Yoon ignored her. What's the big deal? Didn't you order chicken feet takeout with me last time and drink 3 bottles of soju? Shirmi was speechless. The soup arrived. Suddenly, a drunk man stumbled over, spilling the soup on Ji-Yoon's hand. The location was the same as where Ji-Yoon was injured in her past life. Shirmi quickly stood up. Let me see. What if it leaves a scar? But Ji-Yoon pushed her hand away. Don't touch me. She then got up and went to the restroom. Her wrist was burned again. Although I escaped in the office, I still fell at the elevator. My left wrist is burned again, the same as the curling iron burn. So, I'm still going to marry that psychopath in this life. What's meant to happen will happen. Ji-Yoon chanted in her heart, no, absolutely not. Ji-Yoon returned to 10 years ago, but she still couldn't avoid burning her hand. Pyu Ming-hwan, who could handle 3 or 4 bottles, was blushing from one drink. He kept showing off in front of Ji-Yoon, his face slightly flushed. He asked, I have a ticket to Hawaii. What do you like about Ji-Yoon? Shirmi didn't hesitate. Ji-Yoon is kind, smart, and I've never met a girl who gets along with me as well as Ji-Yoon. That's right, Ji-Yoon is very kind. Deputy P, you have a good eye for people. Please take care of our Ji-Yoon in the future. Ji-Yoon couldn't stand it anymore. She shoved a fish cake into Zuma's open mouth. Here, eat more. Why aren't you eating slower? It seems like you're pretty drunk. You'll be back after I put Shirmi in a taxi. Your face is red, let's go. Hold my hand. Although Shirmi said she was fine, Ji-Yoon still called a taxi. Driver, please take her to Shinshi. Shirmi was put in the car. It's so easy to get rid of her. Why was I so stupid before, just bullying her? Pyu Ming-hwan was still amused. It was fun when Shirmi was here. Ji-Yoon wouldn't have acted like that. Shirmi can't hold her liquor, and wants to keep drinking even when she's drunk. It seems she really can't drink. Shirmi is so cute. Ji-Yoon thought, cute my ass. Let's drink more. ISNT tomorrow the weekend. What's gotten into you? You're actually offering me a drink first. Suddenly, some liquid splashed. Ji-Yoon just took off her glasses. Pyu Ming-hwan suddenly asked, are you considering that cosmetic surgery? Ji-Yoon hesitated and said, I'll think about it when I take a vacation next year. My salary should have increased by then, or I'll sell some stocks. This surprised Pu Minghuan. You're interested in stocks too, but I don't understand them. Pu Minghuan, can you teach me? You should have said so earlier. Let's cheers. Jiyuan taught Pu Minghuan some basic stock knowledge, and some investment strategies. Pu Minghuan took Jiyuan home, gave back too much gambling. Ishan felt so disgusted that Jiyuan deleted her whole being. The employee returned home, and immediately collapsed on the sofa. I'm still learning. First, electronics are the most basic. I also bought some semiconductor parts from Duoshan. Necessities bought. Now is the right time to officially buy. Thank you, Pu Minghuan. I'll keep this spiritual training expense well. That day, Jiyuan refused Minghuan's invitation, using physical discomfort as an excuse. He went to the library to learn knowledge by himself. After glancing twice, Jiyuan was overwhelmed by the sheer number of Gankai professional books. I need to know what it means before deciding whether to buy or not. There should be basic books. How can you put it so high with one hand? If I, who's over centimeter tall, can't reach it, how can others see it? Suddenly, a voice called out, Miss Jiang Jiyuan, you're wanted at the resignation counter. He saw Jiyuan's flustered face pale with fright. Because Minghuan said has been making fun of her lately, so I wanted to try it together. The support construction minister didn't say anything, and was about to leave. Who told her to go there? Are you going to see Director Minghua? Jiyuan shook her head frantically. I'm not seeing him today, so could you please not tell other colleagues you saw me here? Because I told Minghuan I'm not feeling well, but as you can see, because I want to be alone this weekend. But Kei Buzhang suddenly stopped speaking. You go back first and bring the company in tomorrow. By the way, these earrings suit Miss Jiang Jiyuan very well. Although the other earrings I brought before weren't suitable, they are friendship earrings that Zheng Xiuming gave me. Yes, it was this person who told me those earrings weren't suitable. Zhu Yuanjian and Dao Lin were at the scene. I don't know why, but it feels very strange. That day, Jiyuan came to work early, because there were many things to do today. Unexpectedly, her minister had already arrived at the company and looked particularly taxed. If you're tired, come to work later. Jiyuan suddenly leaned over, and pulled the duck closer to examine its skin better. It turns out she rarely takes her glasses off. Unexpectedly, the minister suddenly called her name. The two even had a staring contest. Direct support of Yuan. I left early on Friday, so I'm doing more work today. Did I hear wrong? She just didn't call me Miss Jiang Jiyuan, but Jiang Jiyuan. But now is not the time to think about these things. Pu Minghuan clearly told me to buy Juya Pharmaceuticals. The current stock price is around yuan. In a month, the stock price will increase fivefold. Who would believe that the minister, who had no interaction with Jiyuan before, would now take the initiative to bring her breakfast? Jiyuan was about to refuse at first, but she knew in her heart that she had to overcome this. She slightly bowed her head. Thank you, minister. I'll enjoy it. But Kei Buzhang had an unreadable expression. Then you continue your work. Was he being sincere just now? I really don't understand this guy. Forget it. I have more important things to do. I finished the sandwich. Then I logged into the Zenkyu Gusha window. I placed a buy order for Zua Yapin. For a total of shares, I pre-ordered Mianzi, equivalent to million in stocks. The couple I least wanted to see appeared. They said they met near the company. Xiuming was the first to greet Jiyuan. However, Jiyuan said to call her Jiang Daili in the office, and even Minghuan addressed her the same way. But where did this gourmet food come from? Don't you usually only drink Kabu Chiluo? The minister bought this for me. 10 years ago, I did like Kabu Kiluo's coffee, but now I prefer the bitter yet fragrant taste of gourmet coffee. You're like Kabu Chiluo. Pu Minghua should be buying stocks too. Do you think he'll let you make money alone? Jiyuan pretended to glance at Minghuan's computer. Unexpectedly, he was going to sell all the stocks in his hand. Jiyuan's eyes widened in shock. Pu Minghuan sold all of his Jiapan stock. Jiyuan watched his actions, feeling very uneasy. This stock is going to increase fivefold in a month. All I want to change is my own destiny. 10 years ago, he earned several times his investment by investing in Jiapan. But Pu Minghuan has already made some money from Jiapping. A total of shares. He clearly placed a sell order. Why does he sell right when I buy? Just as Jiyuan was buying the goods, Minghuan suddenly interrupted her. Miss Jiyuan, what are you thinking about so seriously? He hesitated slightly. By the way, Jiapan seems to have risen a bit again. I just made a little profit and sold it because I heard some great news over the weekend. MW Technology, I heard they are going to collaborate with S Electronics using new technology and will soon explode in value. Even Ji-Yuan, who wasn't interested in stocks, knew this name. When they announced they had mastered new technology in the mobile phone field, their stock soared in the short term. A month later, the company's boss fled abroad, causing significant losses to investors. This is high-level intelligence. I'm only telling you this because it's you. Don't tell anyone else. If something that didn't happen in the past were to happen, the future would be different. In other words, people related to this event will feel its impact in the future. If what should happen still happens, can I assume I've stolen someone's luck? Let me test it. Here, Ji-Yuan took the initiative to find Ming Ke. I'm going to lunch. Do you want to join me? Unexpectedly, Xiaoming also took the initiative to walk over to them. This is the first time the three of us have eaten together at the company. I don't know what's wrong with Ji-Yuan, but she actually offered to have lunch together. She used to say that office romances should be handled carefully, and refused to eat with me. She just smiled and invited me, but why is she like this now? Suddenly, Xiaoming said, I haven't seen this shirt before. Is it new? It's really beautiful and suits you. Although you just put on this snow-white shirt, it's about to be stained red by you. The company cafeteria. Xiaoming ordered the soup as expected, and asked the cafeteria for extra soup. Xiaoming looked around in front. Ji-Yuan also counted down in her heart. 3, 2. Just as Xiaoming turned around, Ji-Yuan skillfully dodged the bowl of soup. Unfortunately, Ming Huan's shirt was stained with a large patch of soup. This made Xiaoming's face turn pale. Why would Pu Daili call me senior? Although Ming Huan said he was okay. This is a $1,000,001 designer shirt, and it's from Xiaoming. Directly deduct $1,000,000 from Xiaoming. Because I couldn't find Ji-Yuan, I looked back. At this moment, Ji-Yuan suddenly said, don't just ask if I'm okay, quickly get some paper towels. Quickly wipe the soup stains. What should we do? Don't you cherish this shirt very much? This is the first anniversary gift you gave me. Let me try to clean it. She's the most absurd girl I've ever met. Not only did she not help when I asked for it, but she also pretended to be nice in front of Ming Huan. In the restroom, Ji-Yuan suddenly heard someone calling for help. From his tone, he seemed quite anxious. Ji-Yuan immediately guessed what he needed. I'm sliding something under the door. Just pick any one from the makeup bag. I was worried you'd get your clothes dirty, so I brought a shirt. Thank you so much, girl. Thanks to you, I'm saved. He recognized Ji-Yuan at a glance after coming out. So my benefactor is Jiang Daili. There's usually no one here. I didn't bring my phone. I didn't get to eat, and I thought I'd be trapped here. This is Liu Xian, the youngest in the office, years old, who joined a month ago with Xiaoming. He kept calling Ji-Yuan his benefactor. Apparently, someone left without helping him before. If it weren't for you, I would have been doomed. But thanks to this, I met my benefactor. Ji-Yuan invited him to lunch too. But that person who left without helping you is so mean. Xian knows that type of person well. They might pretend to be kind elsewhere. Xiaoming came over with a gloomy face. He said he couldn't just ignore someone in need, so has been busy taking care of Xian since childhood. Xian wasn't very adaptable when he first joined. Even Ming Huan heard about it. Xiaoming, you must have suffered a lot. The more I look at you, the more genuinely kind I find you. She ignored Xian's pleas in the restroom, but she told Ming Huan, I just met someone trapped in the restroom and I helped him. It felt so good to hear him thank me. Ji-Yuan went to the soup-stained restroom and brought Xian back. Shall we eat together since we just met? Ever since Xian appeared, Xiaoming has been unhappy. He joined at the same time as me. Why is he always acting so familiar? Even Ming Huan was confused. It seems Xian and Ji-Yuan are getting close behind my back. Jiang Daili helped me just now, but Daili, are your clothes okay? That shirt seems very... Ming Huan smiled faintly. It's just a shirt, that's the gift Ji-Yuan gave him. How can you say that? Xian had just taken a bite. When Xiaoming said, how can a girl eat so much? Xian didn't argue with him, using his grandfather's words, let bygones be bygones. It's funny that you're still nagging. Have you done anything important? But Xian still humored him. Zheng Xiaoming was clearly showing off. I don't know if Xian is kind or just oblivious. Ming Huan had work to do, so he went up first. As soon as Ji-Yuan said she was going to the cafe, Xiaoming suddenly hugged her. I want a hot carbu chilluor. Ji-Yuan immediately pulled his hand away. After Ji-Yuan left, Xiaoming's face immediately changed. Xian, is this shirt from Ji-Yuan? When did you become close with our Ji-Yuan? I've never seen you two talk at the company. It turns out that Ji-Yuan gave Xian sanitary products and clothes when he was trapped in the restroom. Xiaoming was so surprised to hear this. Could he remember my voice? Xiaoming changed the subject, mentioning, Ji-Yuan is such a busybody. Even if she doesn't know someone, she can't just ignore them. Don't trust your benefactor too much. My mother has known her for a long time, so it's fine. ISNT there are saying about how people's hearts are unpredictable. I'm saying this for your own good, Xian. But Xian's face suddenly darkened. Being a busybody should mean caring about even what other people's grandfathers do. If you're such a busybody, why didn't you tell me you didn't have sanitary products? It seems I have to be careful, since even hearts are unpredictable. As the elevator doors closed, Xiuming's face turned pale. What did she mean by that? Did she hear me lying? Just as he thought things were bad, the section chief walked towards him. Xiuming's expression instantly changed. Section chief, your tie looks great today. The old man was so flattered he couldn't find North. Ever since you came, Xiaoming, I've been motivated to come to work. Before, there were only 2 women in the office. One was an ajumma, and the other was like a chopstick. But Xiaoming is so beautiful and more feminine. You must be referring to me, section chief. I've been so tired lately, but now I'm energized. The section chief perked up at this. Is there something troubling you, Xiaoming? Tell me, your senior will help you. I just want to cry. It's not appropriate to talk about it here. Can you buy me a drink after work today? Who would believe that Ming Huan would suddenly harass Ji-Yuan, and the minister's appearance stopped him. Ji-Yuan didn't see the minister during lunch. He probably didn't eat, and I wonder if Gu Wu Nan Shixing is okay. But through this incident, Ji-Yuan also learned that she can steal someone's luck. For me, who knows the future, there's nothing more advantageous than this. I won't let anything be taken from me again. Ji-Yuan bought coffee, and it seemed like everyone hadn't returned yet. Ji-Yuan was still wondering where the minister went. So he was sleeping here again. He worked so much 10 years ago. Ji-Yuan carefully placed a cup of coffee next to him. But as she was about to leave, she was suddenly grabbed by a hand. Jiang Ji-Yuan, come with me. Just as Ji-Yuan was feeling flustered, the minister suddenly stood up and coughed. Mr. Ming Huan, what are you doing? Ming Huan immediately let go. I have something to say to Ji-Yuan. Even if it's break time, this is still the company. Please handle personal matters after work. I'll assume you understand what I'm saying. Miss Ji-Yuan, thank you for the coffee. Take the section chief inside. Ji-Yuan was stunned. Was he helping me? He probably just felt that I disturbed his sleep. Just as the support turned around, Piao Minghuan was staring at her intently. He whispered to Ji-Yu, let's talk after work. Fear instantly filled Ji-Yuan Quan. This expression was exactly the same as his in the past life. Ji-Yuan's whole body trembled. But just then, Yang Dali suddenly called out to him. Do you have time now? This oolong tea, the tension-relieving effect should be better than coffee. Ms. Ji-Yuan looked so pale just now. Did something happen? Ji-Yuan still used work as an excuse. It's all because Ms. Ji-Yuan, you work too hard. You can slow down a bit. After I gave birth, I realized that health is the most important thing. This also reminded Ji-Yuan that Yang Dali resigned. Shortly after returning from maternity leave, something must have happened back then. Yang Dali, are you doing okay recently? My mom's, Section Chief Kim won't let me have it easy. She doesn't know how much work she's piled on me, using the excuse that I had it hard on maternity leave. But thanks to a capable colleague like Ms. Ji-Yuan, I'm also persevering. So you don't have to shoulder everything yourself. If you feel tired, tell me anytime. Aren't we colleagues? I'll make you some oolong tea then. Ji-Yuan's face instantly turned red. Why didn't I know 10 years ago that I had such good colleagues around me? Now I can be sure that after giving birth, I started to notice things I hadn't noticed before. The 3 of them chatted harmoniously. Young Daili even showed them her baby's photo. She looks a lot like me, right? Although it breaks my heart to send this little one to daycare, what else can I do? I have to work hard to provide for my daughter. On the other side, Xiaoming and Section Chief Kim came to Haoxia. Those 3 formed an alliance there. Xiaoming was still talking to them about something. He looked unhappy. Jiang Ji-Yuan. You actually smiled at someone other than me. The department head announced that it was time to leave work. Piao Minghuan kept staring at Ji-Yuan. Ji-Yuan was filled with anxiety, and all of his actions were seen by the department head. Ji-Yuan hid in the restroom after work. Ji-Yuan had already told Piao Minghuan that she left first, but he said he was still waiting for her at the company. Minutes passed, and Ji Yuan kept comforting herself. It's okay, don't be afraid. I'm no longer that submissive person. If I don't want to experience this twice, I have to change first. As soon as Ji Yuan reached the building exit, she unexpectedly ran into the department head. Miss Jiang Ji Yuan, you're just leaving now. I just got back from taking care of some matters in the administration office. It was a bit awkward just now, but thankfully, the elevator came relatively quickly. Ji Yuan was still worried. What if Piaminghuan is still waiting for me outside? I'd rather die than run into him. But the department head suddenly said, Miss Jiang Ji Yuan, if you don't mind, I can give you a ride home. Ji Yuan ended up in the department head's car. As soon as she mentioned her address, the department head said he happened to be going nearby. But Ji Yuan inadvertently, suddenly saw a large photo frame in the department head's car. Ji Yuan then learned that the department head had a girlfriend. It would be strange if he didn't. As soon as Ji Yuan got out of the car, she saw Piaminghuan. Unexpectedly, that annoying lover was still there. Ji Yuan quickly lowered her head. She learned from the department head that the car window tint was very dark, and the inside couldn't be seen from the outside. Ji Yuan breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing this. Have you ever seen such a ridiculous woman? Just to satisfy her vanity, she willingly accompanies an old man years older than her for drinks, thanks to the department head giving Ji Yuan a ride home. Otherwise, she wouldn't know how to face Piaminghuan. After Ji Yuan left, the department head received a mysterious call. The person on the other end called the department head Big Brother. Is there something wrong? You haven't been around lately. I can't make it today. You guys have fun. I can't go today. You guys handle things yourselves. Xiao Ming was still complaining. Drinking with an old man who reeks of loneliness. What is this? Jiang Ji Yuan must be out with Shen Chuan Minhai, the handsome and charming Minute Huan Yu. The old man's face turned red. It's quite enjoyable drinking with the beautiful Xiao Ming. Come out for drinks with your brother more often. You can tell your brother about your troubles now. Xiao Ming directly made a threat. Shi Yang and Yang Daili seemed to be getting along well. The old man was stunned. But I don't have any secrets to tell them. Even if I resign, Gij, don't be too sad. Why are you resigning? I'll teach them a lesson for you. Even though I'm just a section chief, and everyone overlooks me, I'm the second in command in the office. Ji Yuan smiled faintly. Thanks for saying that, even if it's just casual talk. I just want to get along with everyone. They are really going too far. But don't worry, Gij will take care of everything for you. Let's drown our sorrows in drink today. He really is simple-minded and easy to manipulate. Now I just need to proceed as planned. Ji Yuan suddenly received a text message from Xiao Ming. Putting on quite an act, aren't you? Is Piaminghuan tired of this game? Was Ji Yuan just about to call him back? Piaminghuan called. He asked where Ji Yuan was and wanted to meet up, but Ji Yuan refused. Then he asked about buying coffee for the department head. That wasn't coffee, it was mugwort tea. The department head treated me to coffee this morning. I just wanted to return the favor. Besides, when there are only 2 people in the office, would I buy my own coffee for myself? As for turning off my phone, you were annoying me earlier. I turned it off because I was in a bad mood. Just as Ji Yuan was about to hang up, Piaminghuan suddenly said I love you, shocking Ji Yuan so much that she dropped her phone. Have you ever been truly sincere to me? 10 years ago, I also had many good friends around me. It's as if I'm afraid of someone discovering my story. We should cherish the people around us, even though some of them have always been paying attention to us. At this moment, Ji Yuan suddenly thought of Yang Chulan. I remember now. Her kindness that I overlooked in the past. Yang Daili just got home. When her husband suddenly said, why are you back so late? I'm starving. Yang Daili tried to teach him a lesson about sheltering Ji Yuan, but he said he had an appointment and had to go out. You're going out again. Yang Daili was furious. Don't you see how tired I am? But he said that he had been working all day, and it was also tiring to pick up the kids from school. The 2 of them started arguing. With the quarrel, only the mother and daughter were left at home. She finally managed to put her child to sleep and drifted off herself. The next morning, rumors were spreading in the company. Is this what you call a proposal? How are you a deputy manager? Your workability is not even as good as the new Ji Yuan. Have you lost your touch after giving birth? Do you still need me to teach you this? You've been working for several years and you can't even make a decent proposal. Yang Daili just said she would revise it and resubmit it. But Section Chief Kim suddenly yelled, redo it. You must hand it in to me tomorrow morning. Ji Yuan couldn't stand it anymore. He always does this when the department head isn't around. What was going on with Xiaoming? What was he smiling about? Ji Yuan was worried about Yang Daili. She had been working overtime for several days. Ji Yuan found Yang Daili. She looked completely overwhelmed. Let me make you some tea this time. Ji Yuan was still worried that what happened to her in her past life would happen to other people. But there was nothing to be done. She had already died and regretted it, and only she knew the rules of this world. Ji Yuan suddenly said, "Absolutely do not redo it. Listen to me carefully now. You don't need to modify the content, just change the font and layout and resubmit it. Because Section Chief Kim definitely hasn't looked at your proposal carefully. If he gets angry because you submitted the same proposal, he'll help you redo it." Ji Yuan finally made up her mind to help Yang Daili even if it meant changing the future. Ji Yuan told Yang Daili not to modify the content, just to change the font and layout and resubmit it. Ji Yuan didn't give Yang Daili much time to react. Ji Yuan handed her a recorder. "Every time Section Chief Kim scolds you, record it. But I also have a conscience. Didn't you say that Section Chief Kim worked very hard while you were on maternity leave?" Ji Yuan was taken aback upon hearing this. "I took over more than half of your work while you were on leave, and the rest was divided among the other colleagues in the department. Section Chief Kim must have appeared to be working hard in the reports. Just pretend you don't know about the recording for now. It will be useful soon." As soon as they came out, they saw Section Chief Kim scolding Xiyin. If Ji Yuan remembered correctly, Xiyin left for another department not long after. It was also because of Section Chief Kim. He always picked on people when the department head wasn't around, treating the office as his own kingdom. Just keep walking across that bridge. It's not Yang Daili who is leaving the company, it's you. The next day, Yang Daili only modified the layout and submitted it. Sure enough, Section Chief Kim didn't notice and told Yang Daili to redo it. The third day, the fourth day, Section Chief Kim was still the same. A week later, Section Chief Kim finally approved Yang Daili's proposal. "This is barely passable this time. Print it out and distribute it to everyone for the meeting. But I won't give you another chance next time." It seems that guy didn't carefully review the proposal. "I only changed the font and layout, and he didn't even notice." Ms. Ji Yuan was right. Ji Yuan handed the proposal for the meeting to the department head. The department head suddenly said, "Miss Xi Yang went to buy coffee, so you don't need to prepare any." Xi Yang actually brought back a lot of delicious treats. As expected, Miss Xi Yang is so thoughtful. "But don't thank me, this is the department head's treat." Suddenly, a disharmonious voice rang out. "Who bought this coffee?" Just as Xi Yang looked bewildered, Section Chief Kim said, "Do you think you're so great? The coffee from the cafe isn't even as good as instant coffee. Who wants to drink this so early in the morning for a meeting? There's so much coffee in the pantry. You're just a contract worker, how dare you casually use the company's resources?" But the department head suddenly appeared behind him and calmly said to Section Chief Kim, "I asked her to buy it. I paid for it with my card because I don't really like instant coffee." Ji Yuan blushed upon hearing this. No one had ever used the department head's card to buy coffee before. The meeting started. This proposal was made by Deputy Manager Yang. Yang Daili carefully introduced it to everyone. This product is specially designed for families of 1 or 2 people. The third page is the ingredient list. The fifth page is the packaging plan. But the department head suddenly pointed out a problem. "This proposal is wrong. The third page isn't the ingredient list, it's the packaging design." Section Chief Kim immediately chimed in, "Didn't I tell you to give the original directly to the department head?" Just as Section Chief Kim was telling Yang Daili to redo it, the department head suddenly said, "Deputy Manager Yang, this is the returned proposal." Section Chief Kim, "Why did you return this proposal in the beginning?" Section Chief Kim shook his head. "I don't know if Deputy Manager Yang was too rushed, but she just cobbled together some things from the internet for me. After I returned it a few times, I thought this version was not bad, so I let it pass." The department head slammed the proposal on the table. "These 2 proposals only have different layouts, the content is the same. Why did you return it and then approve it?" Section Chief Kim ignored him and yelled at Deputy Manager Yang, "Miss." But suddenly a voice rang out, "That's not right. Only the earliest proposal was made by Deputy Manager Yang Zulan. The current proposal was made by me. Because Deputy Manager Yang hasn't been feeling well recently, so I wanted to help her. But I thought the proposal she gave me was reference material, so I just copied it. Deputy Manager Yang didn't have time to redo it, so she gave it to Section Chief Kim first. It was also my fault for giving the first version of the proposal to the department head. Jiang Daili, are you crazy? Other things can be messed up, but not this. Before Section Chief Kim could finish, the department head suddenly interrupted him. Who's blaming who now? All the words Section Chief Kim just said now fell back on him. Section Chief Kim was about to apologize, but was interrupted by the department head. You don't need to apologize to me. Please submit a detailed report before tomorrow. Section Chief Kim was about to lose his mind. Ji Yuan handed the new proposal to the department head. From now on, proposals will be directly submitted to me for the first round of confirmation. Ji Yuan and Yang Daili's plan finally worked. But Section Chief Kim and his ally weren't doing so well. To be honest, Ji Yuan was scared, but thankfully it was resolved smoothly. She hoped Yang Daili wouldn't have to leave the company this time. Ji Yuan suddenly received a message from Xiao Ming. Ji Yuan didn't remember having any appointments this week. I'll just say I can't go. Suddenly Ji Yuan froze. That's the day I wanted to erase from my memory. The day of the class reunion. The class reunion. Ji Yuan returned to the Yu Yingying incident years ago. How would he handle it this time? Ji Yuan remembered the past through Xiao Ming's text message. That day, Xiao Ming said he was taking me to a good restaurant, but he actually took me to the class reunion. The classmates were whispering, saying that no one welcomed me here. They were sure I forced Xiao Ming to come, and even said my child resembled Zheng Xiao Ming. Just then, Zheng Xiao Ming suddenly hugged me. My best friend Ji Yuan is here too. This kind of occasion can't be without her. Ji Yuan's face darkened instantly. She said she needed to use the restroom. In the restroom, Ji Yuan overheard people talking about her. Xiao Ming is so kind, has like a fool. He was always taken advantage of in school and kept taking care of her. Now at work, he still has to look after her. Ji Yuan doesn't appreciate him at all. If it were me, I wouldn't have come with her in the first place. The two people in the restroom suddenly remembered that Ji Yuan said she was going to the restroom. The two of them quickly fled the scene. Ji Yuan stayed in the restroom for about minutes. When she came out, there was no one there. Even Zheng Xiao Ming was gone. But at that very moment, Ji Yuan ran into Bian Hao. Suddenly a voice startled Ji Yuan. What are you thinking about in the restroom? Ji Yuan is taking the caramel-colored pasta away from the Guren-style work again. Doesn't a great brain also need ventilation? So, what are you planning to do on Sunday? Lin Yinyu is quite famous these days. Do you want to go shopping with me? Sunday is the day I promised Zheng Xiao and Ming Yu. Then let's go sightseeing together during the day. The support here promised Xi Yang to go shopping together on Sunday, making him as happy as a child. I will plan a super awesome itinerary in advance. Ji Yuan suddenly noticed Xi Yang's lipstick. It's the same as the one I saw in the CEO's car. Ji Yuan also remembered the rumors. Xi Yang and the CEO are dating. He even used the CEO's card last time. Could Xi Yang really be the CEO's lover? But their personalities seem completely opposite. Is it because it's Xi Yang that they are dating? Xi Yin is overjoyed at the thought of going out with Ji Yuan. The most popular power supplies recently are all in Lingianlu, and the hair salon I frequent is there, so I know it very well. Unexpectedly, the CEO suddenly called them. You two are going out this weekend. But as soon as Xi Yin saw the CEO, she immediately pulled Ji Yuan away from the scene. There are also some music stores at Juyuan GNCE. However, Xi Yin is secretly in love with Zheng Buchang. Ji Yuan arrived at the eye clinic on Sunday morning. He can't go to the reunion looking like this, so he tried to take off his glasses. Here, Xi Yang found Xi Yang and met up with him. Unexpectedly, Xi Yang stared at Ji Yuan. He looked completely different with his shadow glasses and beautiful eyes. Is it better than wearing glasses? Even female celebrities definitely look better with glasses. It seems the same is true for men. Last time I saw the CEO without his glasses, he looked much more handsome. Unexpectedly, these words startled Xi Yang. Let's not talk about that, in Yuan. I have a lot planned for today. Here, Xi Yang took Ji Yuan to the hair salon. After Tony the stylist took a look, he said his hair was in good condition and the results should be good. Then he'll create a suitable look for you. Hair first, then makeup. Let me trim your hair first. You should suit bigger curls. We'll help you change while your hair is perming. We'll give you natural and elegant medium-toned makeup, and then style your hair inwards beautifully. Do you recognize the teacher? Xi Yang was moved to tears. Where did this goddess come from? The curls and makeup suit you so well. Even Ji Yuan himself couldn't believe it. Xiao Ming called. Ji Yuan, remember we're meeting today, right? You must bring me the Jenga ring. This is a request from the person who cleans up my trash. Since he asked me to bring it, of course, I have to. Thank you. Let's go to the reunion. Here is the class reunion. The classmates were all shocked that Sherminit was still hanging out with Jiyuan. How much have you suffered because of him? You're such a sucker with such a handsome face. But Sherminit still had an innocent look. By the way, what has he been doing lately? Is he still wearing those strange clothes and dirty glasses? Don't say that. Jiyuan has become much more handsome. And Jiyuan will be here soon. Sherminit called Jiyuan. I'll go in first. Where are you? If you can find it, I'll come pick you up. Unexpectedly, Jiyuan said, I've arrived. Sherminit and the classmates were all stunned. Is this still Jiyuan? What happened to him? Jiyuan returned to 10 years ago, and was no longer timid. When faced with the classmates' mockery, Jiyuan chose to take the initiative. Jiyuan arrived at the reunion. Sherminit's face turned pale. Why did I see a reunion banner outside? Weren't we just supposed to have dinner together? Sherminit was shocked. Brother Jiyuan, this is a surprise. Say hello to everyone. Everyone, Jiyuan is here too. He's my best friend. He couldn't miss this occasion. Suddenly, a voice came, is that Jiang Jiyuan with the round glasses? Jiang Jiyuan has become so beautiful. I almost didn't recognize him. Jiyuan looked at him with some unfamiliarity. Maybe it's because I've also become handsome, so you don't recognize me. Im Jin Tai Cheng. Jiyuan remembered him. Speaking of which, you guys have the same reaction. Jiyuan, you are so beautiful, and this dress really suits you. Sherminit, you look like you're secretly wearing your mom's reaction dress. Sherminit's face instantly darkened. Two other classmates came in and said that Jiyuan is beautiful and kind. Jiyuan suddenly stood up and said, I'm going to the restroom. As he walked by, the classmates kept praising Jiyuan. Conversely, they belittled Sherminit, leaving him unhappy. Jiang Jiyuan, what's going on? Your hair, clothes, shoes and bag, what's the deal? Jiyuan arrived at the restroom, the third stall on the left. Even though 10 years have passed, Jiyuan still remembers. Sherminit, I need to figure out what you've been saying about me all these years. Why do your friends hate me so much? Jiyuan's phone suddenly rang. It was a text message from the CEO. He closed his phone. The classmates' taunts started again. Their words were as nasty as could be. Jiyuan knew he couldn't just stand there like a fool. Just as they were about to leave, Jiyuan suddenly pushed the door open and said, all right, let me hear it too. What did I do to Zheng Sherminit back in school? You must have hurt Sherminit like this too. If I say it's because of Bayan Hao, do you remember? I heard you knew Sherminit liked Bayan Hao, but you stopped him from confessing. Just because you were interested in Bayan Hao, you treated your friend like this for a boy. You thought Bayan Hao was yours just because he talked to you a few times. Jiyuan knew that wasn't the case. Back in school, it was Bayan Hao who liked him, not Zheng Sherminit. I did like Bayan Hao, but Zheng Shermin never told me he liked Bayan Hao. I never stopped him from confessing to Bayan Hao. You probably don't remember, but Sherminit has always held onto it. He even messed up his college entrance exams because of this, and you got into a prestigious university on your own. Sherminit got into a second-tier university now. Will he forgive him? He'll definitely pester Sherminit again. Jiyuan reached into his bag. That UK company you mentioned, I'm the one who recommended Zheng Shermin. Of course, as a contract worker. The classmates were stunned. Sherminit said he got in through open recruitment. As you can see, I'm very busy and don't have time for proof. I just looked at Hanji's bag, it's fake. Hanji instantly panicked. I heard Zheng Shermin always bullied others in school, and he always said bad things about me behind my back for no reason. These are all things you did without understanding the situation. If you can show me the receipt from the department store, I'll apologize for saying your bag is fake. Are you feeling wronged and angry? I'm also wronged and angry. If you don't believe me, go ask Zheng Shermin. I'm leaving now. It was nice seeing you all. Let's not meet again. Jiyuan knew how Sherminit talked about him, but Sherminit suddenly called. What are you doing here? I talked to my classmates for a bit. I talked about you. Come in quickly. Bayan Hao was a very popular student council president. He was dazzlingly bright, so Jiyuan liked him very much. Because that was a different kind of light from me, very warm. Although he rejected my confession, he confessed to Sherminit not long after. But that was a long time ago. Bayan Hao doesn't seem to have come to the reunion. He must be even more handsome now. Bayan Hao was also asking about Jiyuan on the phone. Just as the door opened, the two passed each other. After Bayan Hao passed by, He called Ji-Yuan again. What? Everyone knows it's Jiang Ji-Yuan. I've been looking for you for so long, and finally found you. But before Ji-Yuan could speak, he remembered how Bai Enhao interviewed him. Why at this time? Ji-Yuan was about to leave when Bai Enhao called him again. I came here to see you. Give me a moment. Let's talk. Suddenly, the CEO arrived. Miss Jiang Ji-Yuan, I'm here to pick you up. Ji-Yuan was a little confused, but he remembered how Bai Enhao treated him before, and decisively turned to the CEO. Let's go. Bai Enhao kept calling from behind. You must check your personal space. Ji-Yuan didn't know what Bai Enhao meant, but he didn't understand the current situation either. The CEO happened to be passing by and saw Miss Jiang. You seemed troubled, so I stopped. Ji-Yuan returned to 10 years ago, and successfully retaliated. Xue Minute could no longer hold his head high in front of his classmates. The CEO saw Ji-Yuan was a little troubled, so he stopped and waited for him. Although he acted rashly to help, Xi Yang would definitely be unhappy if she knew. The CEO had just received a message from Xi Yang and she wasn't happy. Ji-Yuan felt like he was always causing trouble for the CEO. Thank you. In the restroom of the reunion, Xue Minute looked dejected. I heard you're just a contract worker at UK. Did you get in because of Jiang Ji-Yuan's recommendation? He even showed us his manager's business card. Show us yours too. If you were a regular employee, you'd definitely have a business card. When was I ever a regular employee? You must have misunderstood. But this couldn't fool his classmates. I must have mixed it up with another company. I really didn't mean to say that. I always asked you every time I treated you to a meal. Is there something wrong with your brain? Seriously, it seems what Jiang Ji-Yuan said is true. You said Jiang Ji-Yuan liked Bai Enhao and stopped you from confessing, but he said he didn't do that. Why are you still talking about this? It was all childhood stuff. I barely remember. I can't believe a woman could lie like that. We were fooled by you for 3 years, and you don't remember. Anyway, Jiang Ji-Yuan couldn't explain, so you kept lying out of sympathy. I did intentionally hide the company thing. Maybe it's because you guys hate Ji-Yuan so much. I was afraid Ji-Yuan would be bullied again, but isn't Jiang Ji-Yuan being bullied all because of you? Jiang Ji-Yuan has always been bullied because of you. You're really crazy. Don't contact me again. With the slam of the door, Xue Minute collapsed on the ground in despair. But even this didn't bring him any comfort. He believed that all the insults and mockery he suffered were because of Jiang Ji-Yuan, and it had to be Jiang Ji-Yuan. That way, I would appear to be the kind and good child, because Zheng Xiumin is the child loved by everyone. But Jiang Ji-Yuan ruined everything. After a while, he thought, what should I say when I go out? That's right. I'll just say I misspoke. If I cry, my classmates won't hold it against me anymore. But when he walked out of the restroom, it was already empty. Ji-Yuan received a call from Xue Minute, but Ji-Yuan had already fallen asleep. Ji-Yuan dreamt of the past. His classmates treated his desk like a trash can. Enhao, who sat next to him, was so pitiful. Back then, it was taken for granted that Ji-Yuan was hated. Just as his heart was about to break, Bai Enhao suddenly said to him, I can't see the blackboard clearly from this seat. From tomorrow onwards, you sit here. And from that time onwards, the trash thrown in from the window disappeared. Ji-Yuan's heart also started to flutter. Maybe it was because of Xue Minute's urging, or maybe Ji-Yuan's mind short-circuited due to his heart fluttering. He recklessly confessed to Bai Enhao. Ji-Yuan was always a child loved by no one except Zheng Xiumin, although this only friend also stabbed me in the back. Ji-Yuan shed tears in his sleep. Ji-Yuan suddenly opened his eyes. He actually fell asleep, and in the CEO's car. It must have been the CEO's doing. The CEO took off his glasses and touched Ji-Yuan's face. The CEO learned that Ji-Yuan had slept in the car for 3 hours. Ji-Yuan was about to leave, when the CEO suddenly stopped him. I apologize if I acted presumptuously. I just thought Miss Jiang Ji-Yuan might not want to run into that person. How did the CEO know so quickly? How did he know I was avoiding Bai Minghuang? Bai Minghuang and I drifted apart because of work, but unknowingly, the two of them had become so close. The CEO suddenly asked, Miss Jiang Ji-Yuan, do you love Mr. Bai Minghuang? Ji-Yuan firmly replied, yes, I do. After all, we're lovers. Also, these kinds of personal questions make me a little uncomfortable. Ji-Yuan's face flushed after he spoke. Was I too cold? Why did he suddenly bring his face so close? But I should still apologize to him. But the CEO does look angry. Ji-Yuan thought he should compliment him. He said with a smile, the glasses suit you very well. The CEO's expression softened. This outfit really doesn't suit Miss Jiang. See you at the company tomorrow. This wave of operations needs support. Well, it was originally like that. By the way, are these clothes that ugly? Who knew that at this moment? Buzhang's face flushed red. He actually smiled at me so sadly. But why did Jiyuan cry just now? Is it because of that jerk again? The image of Pu Minghuan and Sherming together flashed in Buzhang's mind again. Because you're heartbroken, so you pressed that plus red. Who would believe it? Jiyuan said Buzhang looks handsome without his glasses. Buzhang surprisingly doesn't wear glasses. Jiyuan returned home and remembered what Bai Yanhao said to her. Why did he tell me to check my personal space? My personal space doesn't even have friends. Suddenly, Jiyuan discovered that there were many more messages on the message board. These were all messages Bai Yanhao had left for Jiyuan before. Just as she was wondering, Jiyuan's phone rang. Unexpectedly, it was Ji calling her. I have something to say, so I called your personal phone. What we said in the restroom just now. Just as Jiyuan thought she hadn't recovered yet, a sudden "I'm sorry" came from the phone. You've had a hard time because of us. We only listened to Sherming and had opinions about you. We're really sorry. It's hypocritical to apologize now without knowing the truth. And we scolded you with the other classmates. Hearing this, Jiyuan was instantly stunned. Honestly, even if I accept your apology, I don't have the courage to see you again. But since you've mustered the courage to apologize to me, I will also try not to be angry, just like you. Thank you for contacting me first. We can meet anytime. Be sure to contact us. Oh, right. Nana seems to want to talk to you too. Early the next morning, Jiyuan showed a slight smile. My, what's going on with you two? Young Daili doesn't know who picked that outfit for you. It really suits you. Your hairstyle is also really beautiful. Buzhang, you look so handsome without your glasses. You two look like an idol couple, although it's more difficult than I imagined, but it should be fine once I get used to it. Who knew? When Pu Minghuan saw Jiyuan, his face instantly turned red. That star-like woman was actually Jiyuan. He walked up to her with a starstruck face. What's going on? Your style has completely changed. It really suits you. Although it looks good, don't dress like this for work. I'm afraid other guys will stare, especially that guy. He used to wear those old-fashioned glasses, and the same tie. Looks like he dressed up for our Jiyuan. It's been a while since we went on a date. Let's go on a date after work today. Jiyuan still rejected him. Sorry, I already have a date today. Jiyuan arrived at the coffee shop. Bai Yanhao had been waiting there for a long time. I've read everything on the message board. Why did you? For so many years. Bai Yanhao blushed slightly. Of course, it's because I had a crush on you. I had a crush on you for 3 years in school. Although in the end, everything was messed up because of my misunderstanding. All the harm I caused you was my fault. I just want to tell you my true feelings. I know you have a boyfriend. I'm not here to pressure you. Let's be friends again. Let's care for each other. Let's drink coffee, eat, and chat together. We can do that as friends, right? After becoming friends with Yanhao, Jiyuan learned a lot. The confession he wrote back then was changed by Zheng Xiuming, and Yanhao also really liked. I know I didn't tell you in the end. Actually, I used to really like you too. Jiyuan was still thinking, if it wasn't for Zheng Xiuming, if Xijin and I both still liked you and got married, would my life be happy? Would you warmly embrace the dead Zhiliang and cry for me? But just as Jiyuan was feeling sad, Buzhang suddenly appeared in front of her and called her. It's so late, why is Buzhang here? Buzhang suddenly stepped forward and said, Mr. Pu Minghuan seems to have come over again. I didn't answer the phone, so he came looking for me. But Jiyuan suddenly yelled at Buzhang, Minghuan is my boyfriend. This has nothing to do with Buzhang. Please don't come to my door for this kind of thing again. Buzhang stared at Jiyuan. Will Miss Jiyuan call someone she's afraid of and avoids her boyfriend? You don't love that person at all. Your daily expression tells me that. You are clearly decisive. I don't know why you keep putting up with this. Jiyuan's face flushed. What are you trying to say? Buzhang shouted, stop crying alone. I can't bear to watch you cry anymore. Jiyuan panicked after hearing this. Buzhang, if you do this, will Xian know? I know you two are dating. Don't you feel sorry for Xian? Although it's just my guess, isn't it she? So please stop paying attention to my private life. Otherwise, I'll tell Xian everything. But we are not in the kind of relationship Miss Jiyuan thinks we are. Xian is actually my younger sister. Sherming caused a big problem. A customer had a severe allergic reaction because of her recommendation. Xiaoming was dissatisfied with Yang Dailei's distribution and played with her phone casually. The customer asked about the ingredients, and Xiaoming ignored her. Just as she thought she was doing the right thing, an older woman suddenly collapsed nearby. The product in her hand fell to the ground. I'm allergic to peanuts. Xiaoming was also annoyed by the commotion. The aunt called Xiaoming over. Didn't you say there were no nuts in this? How are you going to take responsibility? Are you trying to kill someone? Xiaoming said nonchalantly, what do you want me to do? She took it for free, so I just gave it to her. Isn't it your fault, auntie? Go to the hospital if you're not feeling well, don't cause a scene here. Just as the older woman was about to call the staff, Minghuan suddenly arrived. Miss Zheng Xiaoming, what's going on? Are you the person in charge? It's all because of this woman, who said there were no allergens in this. This person is like this now, and she still calls her auntie. Minghuan bowed and apologized to them. I'll take the customer to the hospital first. You take a taxi and come over. What is this? It's all Yang Julai's fault. He actually made me do this kind of work. Minghuan yelled. The product contains allergens that cause allergic reactions. Such important information, Jiyuan didn't tell you. She probably did, although I don't remember hearing it. I'm really sorry, Bu Daili. The worst case scenario is that you might be fired and have to compensate the customer. Only the two of us know about this. If the affected customer or the supermarket complains, it will be troublesome. So you come with me to apologize to them until they calm down. Xiaoming suddenly bowed to Minghuan. Thank you, brother. Xiaoming looked at the person in front of her. As expected, Section Chief Jin is different. I really want this man. Jiyuan was just wondering if he was working seriously when she received Minghuan's text message. As soon as she opened it, it was full of complaints. It's really an exhausting love. Jiyuan immediately texted him back. Zheng Xiaoming, you really lived up to my anger. Yang Daili just returned home and saw the warm scene of Yanji and her grandmother. Our princess is back. I made dinner with my son-in-law. Hearing this, a smile finally appeared on Daili's face. She didn't know how long it had been since she felt so at ease. Listening to Jiyuan was right. Letting her mother remarry was the right choice. I absolutely cannot give up on this project. After I get promoted, I won't be afraid of Section Chief Jin. Who knew, as soon as she came out, her husband stopped her. You told everyone about my resignation, and even brought your family here. I told you in advance that my parents were coming. If you don't like it, then leave this house. This house is in my name. I'm the one who pays the living expenses. Either you go out and earn money, or you stay home and take care of your mother. If you don't want to be kicked out of this house, at least do one thing well. Jiyuan was very happy to hear that Yang Daili's project was going well. But as soon as she hung up the phone, Buzhang suddenly walked over. Aren't you going on a business trip today, Buzhang? I have something to say to Miss Jiyuan before I leave. So I came over. They arrived at the newly renovated coffee shop. As Buzhang ordered their drinks, a familiar voice suddenly came. It's someone I know. I'll give you these three names. Bai Enhao smiled slightly. Hello, Jiyuan. We meet again. Enhao recognized Buzhang as the person who picked him up at the class reunion that day. Buzhang also recognized Enhao from Jiyuan's personal space. Enhao said to Jiyuan, my coffee shop is opening here. We'll see each other often from now on. Even Buzhang was a little surprised. Your classmates, and he didn't tell you he was opening a coffee shop here. Although Jiyuan said she didn't know, Buzhang understood. Bai Enhao has been crushing on Jiyuan. Jiyuan didn't want to make things too complicated, so she quickly changed the subject. Didn't you say you had something to tell me? It turned out that while Buzhang was away on business, Section Chief Jin would be in charge of Buzhang's projects. Buzhang actually knew that their relationship wasn't good, but that's between them. There's a limit to what I can do as a superior. Unless, like last time, Section Chief Jin didn't confirm the contents of the proposal. If things come to light completely, the situation will be different. So you're saying if it's like last time, you can intervene. Jiyuan smiled slightly. If I can get this kind of hint, then this coffee is worth drinking. Jiyuan just entered the company and found Section Chief Jin talking to Xian. And it was while Buzhang was away on a business trip. Section Chief Jin must be up to something. Xian, what's wrong so early in the morning? It's just some busybody's business early in the morning. Want me to make you a cup of coffee? What happened between you and my uncle? He asked me to give him the proposal I wrote before and submitted under his name. Then he would add my name to the project team to help me. Jiyuan was completely stunned after hearing this. Back to 10 years ago, Jiyuan was no longer timid. Facing Section Chief Jin's provocation, she chose to confront him head-on. Xian was called by the section chief. You know I think highly of you, right? I really hope you can be transferred to my department. Didn't you submit a proposal when you first joined the company? The higher-ups would definitely object, so I held it back. So to give you another chance, I've made a new plan. Submit that proposal under my name, and then your name will be added to the project team. In other words, I, Jin Jinyuan, will take credit for your billion project. Just as Xian was about to refuse him, the section chief used her regularization to threaten her. I'm asking you to think about it carefully. If you don't want your career to end in a year, Xian told him till the end that she would take care of her own regularization. You did the right thing. It shows that your proposal was really good. And Yuan, do you know what the second happiest religion in the world is? Islam. They have over billion followers, but why is there no equipment for them to prepare vegetarian meals? If we seize the opportunity now, it will definitely be very promising. Jiyuan said, you gave that proposal to Section Chief Jin. That proposal won't be implemented anyway because it's risky. Your idea will definitely shine. You should do as Section Chief Jin says for now. He'll get that idea back for you no matter what, but not now. The executive director sighed. I haven't seen such a novel proposal in a long time. Jihei's business trip is an opportunity. I will take this time to regain my power. Section Chief Jin was still indulging in his fantasy. Jiyuan was a little solemn. In the end, Yang Daili's project was sidelined by Section Chief Jin's project. Yang Daili had a saying. Sit by the river and wait. Your enemy's body will float by. Such things can happen even if you just wait. The enemy's body won't float down the river by itself. It's because someone threw that person into the river. Jiyuan found Section Chief Jin and handed him the proposal. This is the report I compiled. Maybe it will help with the project you are working on. This is compiled by Daili Yang herself. Very impressive. According to foreign media reports, this industry will soon become a global trend. Other companies must be looking for opportunities as well. We have to seize the opportunity. Since our project is confirmed, let's release the news first. It can serve as publicity, and also establish your image as the founder of UK Light Meals. I also have the draft of the press release ready. Daili Yang is really quick-witted. Then let's quickly send it to the media. Why don't you take this opportunity to join my team? I have to save face too. If your project is successful and you get promoted, don't forget me then. Section Chief Jin quickly contacted the media, and even the secretary thanked him for his help. Section Chief Jin drank a lot for this. He was a completely different person at work. The section chief suddenly received a text message. It was Xiaoming telling him she wanted strawberry milk. Just as Section Chief Jin was overjoyed, the secretary suddenly called him over. JNKZHNG's head was spinning from the water bill. He had just walked into Secretary Han's office when a planning document flew at his head. Secretary Han's face was red with anger. How are you going to take responsibility for this? Didn't you say we created this ourselves? But their company's product is already on the market. Their stock is even skyrocketing. You stupid rabbit. JNKZHNG, who was originally proud of his idea, now had to bow and apologize to Secretary Han. You brainless idiot. Come up with a solution right now. But JNKZHNG suddenly had an idea. Actually, Secretary Han, this project wasn't entirely my idea. A new employee in our department begged me to submit it. I was just giving a young employee a chance. So let's push that new employee out and say it was a mistake by a year-old. That should appease public opinion. Secretary Han thought about the year-old employees in the marketing department. What's that employee's name? His name is Liu Zion. ISNT, the whatever girl trend popular these days. Let's release a news story saying he's the trendy guy. That way, we can avoid negative publicity for the company by sacrificing one new employee. Unexpectedly, Secretary Han turned serious. Did you tell Liu Zion that I told you to do this project? Of course. I wanted him to know that I, JNKZHNG, am a great manager. Secretary Han yelled, you idiot. Go tell him right now that you did this yourself. It has nothing to do with me. Mr. Trendy Guy is quite the talker. Stealing a new employee's idea, and then trying to shift the blame. You're a despicable person. He'll throw you out the window. JNKZHNG was speechless. He touched his mouth. It's okay, I still have my lovely Xiaoming. He'll overcome this crisis with Xiaoming. But when JNKZHNG offered Xiaoming strawberry milk, She mercilessly rejected him. JNKZHNG, after making a mistake, took his anger out on Ji Yuan, insulting her parents and even trying to hit her. But at the critical moment, BuZHNG suddenly appeared and stood up for Ji Yuan. JNKZHNG had just been summoned by Secretary Han, and then Xiaoming rejected his kindness. He thought darkly, it's all Jing Jiyuan's fault. She's so close to Liu Xian, she must have known he had backing. If it wasn't for Jing Jiyuan saying to release the new product first. JNKZHNG grumbled, where's the report I told you to hand in today? When Ji Yuan brought the report to his desk, he became agitated again. If you handed it in, you should have told me. Is this a joke? But Ji Yuan had already reported it via chat software. You're really something. Arguing back at every word I say. After scheming against others, what's with that expression? You don't seem as happy as I am. You even dare to touch me. Where did you learn such tricks? Did your parents teach you this when they were alive? Ji Yuan couldn't hold back her tears after hearing this. JNKZHNG, you're insulting my parents. With a daughter like you, how can I not? Ungrateful wretch. Who are you showing off to? You ungrateful thing. Who are you being so arrogant with? Just as JNKZHNG was about to hit her, he was suddenly grabbed. JNKZHNG, apologized to Miss Jing Jiyuan. Right now. JNKZHNG saw that it was BuZHNG. Apologize quickly. JNKZHNG immediately cowered and apologized to Ji Yuan. As BuZHNG let go, JNKZHNG fell to the ground. JNKZHNG, you will soon receive a suspension notice from the disciplinary committee. Be prepared. This isn't something that can be resolved with an apology. JNKZHNG looked at the kitchen supplies he had won, not only from Jing Jiyuan, but also from Yang Zlan and Liu Xian. Those damn girls ruined everything. I was about to marry Xiaoming. Suddenly, he heard a familiar voice. Isn't that our Xiaoming and Deputy P? You're so cute. Why are you dating that fat-headed toad? Have a drink to cheer you up. I heard He's facing serious disciplinary action. It's for the better though. Everyone hated that incompetent section chief. Xiaoming, you shouldn't hang around JNKZHNG anymore. That way, the rumors about you being his mistress and abandoning him as soon as he's punished will die down. Don't worry, He's finished. It seems like a suspension, but it's practically the same as firing him. The next second, JNKZHNG's fist flew towards Ming Shan. What did this little brat just say? You must be crazy. You have a girlfriend and you dare to flirt with my Xiaoming. Xiaoming and I are getting married. You're determined to break us up. Xiaoming, tell him how much we love each other. Xiaoming looked shocked. Ming Shan, what are you talking about? Why are you doing this to me? As soon as she finished, whispers erupted around them. Xiaoming, what's wrong? Are you neglecting me because of Deputy P? JNKZHNG is clearly not himself. How embarrassing. Xiaoming was furious after rejecting JNKZHNG. He's not a section chief anymore. What a waste of time dealing with a useless man. But it's hard to focus without JNKZHNG. Then Xiaoming suddenly thought, if not JNKZHNG, there's still BuZHNG. BuZHNG was summarizing recent events. He first checked on Ji Yuan's injuries. The problematic halal food project has been completely halted. The planning will revert to Liu Xian. Deputy Yang Zlan's previously postponed project will continue. Also, due to JNKZHNG's suspension, we need new staff. The development team has provided us with Director L. Jun X. Ji Yuan was stunned to see Director L. wasn't the biggest change Xiaoming's situation. The rumors about JNKZHNG are even worse now. What is he smiling about? Finally, I plan to organize a team dinner this Friday. Please, Miss Liu, book a place and notify everyone. As soon as the meeting ended, Xiaoming showed her cute side to BuZHNG. There's nothing easier than seducing a man. BuZHNG, fall for me quickly. Xian was still in shock. Jiyuan, you knew the project I gave to JNKZHNG would have problems. Ji Yuan denied it. Of course I knew. Around this time last year, a certain company launched a large-scale vegetarian product. Unknowingly, I bought UK stocks and suffered a great loss. Thanks to that memory, I was able to recall this incident. Ji Yuan made up an excuse. To brush Xian off, Xiaoming made advances towards BuZHNG, but he didn't even look at her. Ho interrupted Ji Yuan with a dessert. Xian recognized him immediately. Isn't that our Liu Ji has rival? Ho put down the dessert. I made this. Try it. Zion said he didn't like sweets. Ho smiled. This isn't very sweet. It barely has any sugar. The sweetness comes from the raisins. I learned this from a famous pastry chef I hired from France. You'll definitely like it. As soon as Zion took the first bite, his eyes lit up. This is the fresh milk cake that's trending all over social media. It's so delicious. Mrs. Bai is so kind to share such a delicious cake with me. Isn't it good? Not too sweet, right? Come over anytime you want more. After all, I always have plenty here. Xiaoming was jealous and bitter. Jing Jiyuan is getting too cocky. Where is she going with Liu Zion? Then Xiaoming noticed Bu Zhng. Perfect timing. Bu Zhng, would you like some coffee? I was just about to have some. Should I make you a cup? As soon as Bu Zhng said he wanted juice, Xiaoming snatched his cup. It seems you prefer juice over coffee. Hee, so do I. But before she could finish, the glass in Xiaoming's hand shattered on the floor. Oh no. What do I do? Bu Zhng, are you okay? Amidst the sound of shattering glass, Xiaoming's hand was cut. Xiaoming crouched on the ground, looking distressed. My hand is bleeding, but Bu Zhng simply told her where the first aid kit was, and turned to leave. Xiaoming was stunned. How can he be like this? Liu Ji, he is a psychopath. Ming Shan heard the commotion and rushed over. Xiaoming, are you okay? You're bleeding a lot. Let me see your hand. Why are you so careless? Are you hurt anywhere else? As Ming Shan was about to get a bandage for Xiaoming, she stopped him. Can you blow on it for me? Does it hurt a lot? Ming Shan felt his heart ache. Okay, let me try. Xiaoming felt immensely satisfied. Thanks to Deputy P, I'm okay now. His hands are so soft and white, completely different from Ji Yuan's rough hands. Xiaoming, your hands are so small and pretty, and your skin is so fair and smooth. Bu Zhng's face darkened as he watched. They are getting too close. I can't stand this. I can't let Ji Yuan be fooled and date that jerk. But if I tell her everything, it will only hurt her more. Just then, Bu Zhng heard a familiar voice. Ji Yuan and Zion also saw Bu Zhng. Did you two go to the cafe? Zion panicked. Liu Ji, he told me to stay away from that cafe, but the muffins were so good. What could I do? Oh, I have something to do at the development department. Gotta go. Zion fled the scene. As Ji Yuan was about to leave, Bu Zhng, looking in a certain direction, remembered something. He quickly blocked Ji Yuan's path. He couldn't let her run into PP now. Bu Zhng blushed slightly. Would you have dinner with me tonight? Ji Yuan also blushed slightly. I do have time. Is it work-related? About JNKZHNG, and the water's out over there. Why don't we go to the tea room across the street? Bu Zhng pulled Ji Yuan away, and breathed a sigh of relief. What did you want to talk to me about regarding JNKZHNG? It requires a 5-star hotel dinner. Bu Zhng took Ji Yuan to the G restaurant. Miss Jing, you've been very upset because of this incident. Do you plan to continue dating Mr. P. Ming Shan? This question is very important to me, even if it makes you uncomfortable. You've been asking me personal questions. I don't see why I have to answer them. Ming Shan and I are doing well, so I hope you'll stop doing this. Bu Zhng didn't say anything. Let's continue eating. Why him? Jing Jiyuan, what is the reason you're willing to lie, something you're not good at, just to date that guy? Bu Zhng had just told Ji Yuan to be careful of the stairs, and the next second, she tripped. Ji Yuan cried out in pain as she sat on the ground. That heel, I just fixed it last time, and now it's broken again. Can you still walk? You've sprained your ankle. The next second, Bu Zhng picked Ji Yuan up. Walking will only make it worse. Hold on tight. Ji Yuan's heart was pounding. What's with this man? Back 10 years ago, Ji Yuan had also rejected Minute Huan's proposal. But this time, she accepted. Bu Zhng told Ji Yuan to wait for him. Ji Yuan's heart was still racing. Suddenly, Bu Zhng called out to her. Miss Jing, sorry to keep you waiting. I borrowed a first aid kit from the hotel front desk. It might be a little tight. And throw those shoes away. Even if they are fixed, wearing them again will still. Sometimes, you need new ones instead of repairs. Broken shoes can easily break again. Since it was urgent, I bought a pair that seemed to fit. Bu Zhng personally put the shoes on Ji Yuan. Miss Jing, you deserve better shoes. Ji Yuan's heart pounded. She kept telling herself not to overthink it. Just then, Ming Shan called. Why isn't she answering? Isn't that Ji Yuan? I thought I heard wrong. Having dinner with Liu Jihe. She said she'd come after finishing work. That bastard dares to flirt with someone else's girlfriend. Although Jing Jiyuan is beautiful and capable, she always attracts flies. That cafe owner is definitely interested in Ji Yuan. Everyone was looking at Jing Jiyuan in the elevator. There are even rumors that she's the most beautiful and capable employee in the marketing department. What if someone else steals her away? Then he'll have paid the dowry for someone else. Just then, the phone connected. Why didn't you answer the phone? Ji Yuan explained everything over the phone, and Ming Shan was relieved. Ming Shan, actually have a day where I worry about Jing Jiyuan. It all started as a joke. She was just a bet for Minute Huan. Minute Huan thought he could win her over. With a few sweet messages, Ji Yuan didn't fall for it. A strange sense of rivalry ignited between Ming Huan and Xu Yan. Under the guise of Ming Huan's death, she pressed and held down. And that's how our love story began. Ming Huan originally planned to finish the foreign liquor, then find a chance to dump her, but the situation took an unexpected turn. Jiyuan was too kind. Not just kind, she's practically a fool. Seriously, as long as I text her lies, she's completely clueless. That's a good point. She's much easier to manage than a woman who thinks she's smart, though I don't know how someone like her suddenly changed. Even if there are variables, it doesn't matter. I've become even more amazing than before. In that case, I should make my move. I'll propose to Jiyuan tomorrow. I absolutely won't allow her to be with another man. Even in death, you are mine. Just forgive me. I will make you happy for the rest of your life. Why? But with Ming Huan's proposal, Jiyuan agreed. Immediately, Ming Huan embraced Jiyuan, declaring that she would forever belong to him. Don't worry, I made a lot of money this time. Buying a house is no problem at all. Congratulations, Ming Huan. Jiyuan shared the news with Shirmi and the others, mentioning that she would meet Ming Huan's parents tomorrow night. Shuyan's eyes lit up at Jiyuan's new bag. It seems he scraped together some money, and bought it for me right away. The smile on Jian Jiren's face never faded, while Zuma's face darkened instantly. Jiyuan happily talked about how good Ming Huan was, even showing off her ring to Shirmi. Ming Huan is really good to you. Yeah, Shirmi, everything seems so perfect. You must be dying of jealousy. You want Ming Huan so badly. I'll let you have him. Take him quickly. Shirmi was scheming. What's so good about a premarital cohabitation? Jiang Jiyuan, you're my friend. Haven't I always indulged you? Haven't I always been by your side? I've always agreed to everything you wanted. Just be realistic and don't be too presumptuous. Haven't I always been good to you? So I'll take everything back. You can't be happier than me. Jiyuan also checked the stock market. The total income is million. Things are progressing even faster than I imagined. After breaking up with Ming Huan, he'll immediately move and resign. Meanwhile, Ming Huan, following his predetermined script. That bastard Xu Yingda. My 40 million is just gone. What about my wedding house? If Jiang Jiyuan finds out, she'll definitely call off the wedding. Absolutely not. I can borrow money from my parents first. I can totally hide this. Jiyuan bumped into Ming Huan. Ming Huan, what are you doing here? Isn't there a celebratory dinner tonight for Director Yang's project? Everyone is waiting for you. Hurry up, Ming Huan urged Jiyuan to get into his car. Jiyuan then remembered to bring Shirmi along. Inside the barbecue restaurant, Shuyan acted very affectionately with Jiyuan. I'll grill the fatty meat for you, Jiyuan. Whoever gets the project should treat. Shuyan, you're really good at grilling meat. I feel like working at a barbecue restaurant is more promising than my current job. Shuyan was a little anxious, constantly glancing at Shirmi and Jiyuan. Returning to years ago and successfully taking revenge, he finally dumped Ming Huan onto Shirmi. Shirmi and Shuyan clinked glasses, but Shuyan's gaze remained fixed on Jiyuan. When Bu Chang received the news, he was completely stunned. He looked at the scene before him, at a loss. What should I do to stop you from getting married, Miss Jiang Jiyuan? Shirmi toasted Ming Huan, pretending to be polite, but thinking, I must have her. No matter what, I must have her. Bu Chang stepped out to take an urgent call. Shuyan and Director Yang went to the restroom and hadn't returned yet. Now's the chance. Shirmi was completely drunk. Then Jiyuan interrupted them. I'll take Shirmi to your car first. Then I'll do what I promised in return. Honestly, Shirmi is cuter. He's pleasant to look at, and drinking with him is more enjoyable. Jiyuan, how can you say that? It was hard for me at first, too. Thanks to Minghuan, I finally managed to pull through, but you keep talking about your boyfriend. Minghuan is really good. You won't find anyone else like him. That's why I'm marrying him. Jiyuan pretended to search for something. My phone is in the living room. Where is it now? Minghuan, help me look after Shirmi. This is all I can do for you too. Take care of the rest yourselves. Shirmi was shivering from the cold. Minghuan also took off his jacket and put it on him. It's so warm, thank you, Gij. But as Minghuan was about to go look for Jiyuan, Shirmi grabbed him. Can we not talk about Jiyuan? It's just the two of us here. You're really something, Gij. Don't talk to me like that. I'll take you home. As the two got closer, Minghuan suddenly kissed him, but as the car door closed, Shirmi looked at Minghuan and said, Gij, hold me tight. Minghuan smiled happily. Just like that, everything was over. Jiyuan finally got her revenge. But why can't I stop crying? Past experiences kept replaying in her mind. Sitting in the car, Jiyuan finally figured it out. I should be celebrating. Everything is going according to plan. At a roadside food stall, Bu Chang made numerous calls to Jiyuan, but with Bu Chang's question, Jiyuan also explained the situation briefly. Even though they killed me with their own hands, I still foolishly held on to hope. Just as I chose a different path in this life, perhaps their paths will also diverge. But even after I was reborn, Minghuan and Zheng Shirmi are still the same. As Jiyuan was about to pour another drink, a hand stopped her. Miss Jiang Jiyuan, stop drinking. Why are you here alone? Jiyuan spoke softly. They left. They drove off together. Just pretend you don't know. You don't have to take care of me anymore. Love is exhausting. If I don't want to be heartbroken, then I won't fall in love. I'll just use them. Bu Chang was taken aback. You can use me whenever you don't want to be heartbroken. I should be of much use to you. Bu Chang is truly honest. That's why Jiyuan doesn't dislike him. Then you can lean on me. Instantly, it felt like a giant hand was supporting her back. Then I'll lean on you for a while. The temperature in the space rose. Yes, I do feel a sense of peace. With the bright lights, Minghuan slowly opened his eyes, bringing him back to your apartment. Are you crazy? If anyone finds out, whether it's at the company or because of Jiyuan, we're both finished. Jiyuan used her past life's lessons and gave his mother a surprise on their first meeting. Minghuan understood the situation. Shirmi, it seems we both crossed the line yesterday. Let's pretend this never happened. But we spent the night together. How can we just pretend it never happened? You know I like you. Don't you have any feelings for me at all? Minghuan panicked. I'm seeing Jiyuan's parents today. Shirmi choked back tears. I won't interfere with your relationship with Jiyuan, Gij. I'll behave at work too. But you have to date me if you don't dislike me, Gij. Minghuan was overjoyed. How could I dislike you? My dear Shirmi, though it's a bit risky, it's exciting. So can I be as intimate with you as Jiyuan is? Suddenly, Jiyuan called. Sorry, Shirmi said he wasn't feeling well, and the designated driver arrived, so I sent him home first. I understand. Then go meet Minghuan's parents. The makeup artist realized it was Jiyuan's fiancé. I put in extra effort today. Jiyuan then said, please make me look even more stunning, unforgettable at first sight. The words of Minghuan's mother from her past life kept flashing through Jiyuan's mind. Long time no see, young lady. Shirmi was furious. He's ditching me to meet Jiang Jiyuan's parents. He's no match for me. Meeting the parents, getting married. It's pointless even if you do it, because the day before your wedding, your boyfriend will still be with me. Who would have thought that Jiyuan's once best friend would vow to steal her boyfriend? Minghuan's mother was praising Minghuan. You're getting married. Bringing your girlfriend to meet me. I'll get married soon and take good care of you, Mom. She's kind and understanding. Mom and Dad will definitely like her. With the sound of the door opening, Jiyuan appeared before Minghuan's parents. Nice to meet you, father and mother. I'm Minghuan's girlfriend, Jiang Jiyuan. Jiyuan smiled faintly, just like in her previous life. It's a pleasure to meet you. Minghuan has told us a lot about you. But I heard you're a very understanding girlfriend. Are you referring to this bag? Minghuan bought it for me. To be honest, in her past life, Jiyuan had done nothing wrong, yet she didn't know why she was so afraid back then. He's so good to me, he must be even better to his mother. Of course. But can you do housework? Our Minghuan only eats freshly cooked breakfast. Certainly. I'll be responsible for making him a table full of delicious food every morning and evening. If he works late, I'll make him a lunchbox and deliver it. Then I'll make you some side dishes. You and Minghuan can come pick them up on weekends. Jiyuan then said, he can pick them up on weekdays, but don't you have to work on weekdays? Jiyuan looked a little surprised. Why would I need to work? Minghuan said I can quit after we get married, focus on housework, and enjoy life. Minghuan's mother was stunned. Even so, how can you just quit your job? Do you mean to live off Minghuan's earnings? Is it so bad to be a housewife? How can it be called living off him? I'll be doing housework. If I have to cook 3 meals a day, how can I still work? Jiyuan and his mother were arguing. She called her Ajumma and then saw Shirmi arrive. Jiyuan and his mother were arguing fiercely. Suddenly, she said, if we don't have children, one person's income is enough. Minghuan's mother slammed the table. Do you want our family line to end? We need a son to carry on the ancestral rights. How dare you say you don't want children in front of your elders? My father is an only child, and the ancestral rights are just fine. A married daughter is like spilled water. How can she perform ancestral rites for her family? Well, we should understand. After all, your father is also at fault for having a daughter. Jiyuan gritted her teeth and said, Ajumma. Minghuan spat out his water. What did you just say? Are you talking to me like that? Jiyuan stood up. Yes, Ajumma. I've decided to call off this wedding. So you're not my mother-in-law, just an Ajumma. I right? Jiang Jiyuan. What nonsense are you talking about? You're so disrespectful. I knew it would be like this. Children without parents are just hopeless. Ajumma, don't you also not have parents? We're in the same situation, why are you insulting me? Minghuan, I don't agree with this breakup. I will never let this ill-mannered girl into our family. That's such a pity. Then I'll take my leave. As the door slammed shut, I'm sorry I can't be the good daughter-in-law you expected. I might have foolishly done this once, but I won't do it again. As Jiyuan left, she saw Shirmi getting out of the same car. Jiyuan smiled faintly. Shirmi, you're just in time. Jiyuan sought Bu Chang's help again for her plan. But Bu Chang said, you can use me however you like, as long as it's to mess with Jiyuan. Minghuan's mother was still complaining. As she urged Minghuan to break up with Jiyuan, a voice suddenly interrupted. Gitch, I didn't expect to see you here. Looks like you're having a family gathering, he said sweetly. Gitch must have inherited his good looks from his mother. Minghuan's mother beamed. Weren't you supposed to have a date here? My parents suddenly couldn't make it, so I was going to go home and cook for myself. My hobby is cooking. Minghuan's mother's expression changed drastically. We have 1 seat left, would you like to join us? As Shirming wishes, of course I'm willing. Seeing such an understanding girl, we're very happy, right hubby? Much better than that woman just now. Just as I expected, it seems meeting the parents completely backfired. I definitely came to the right place. Meanwhile, Minghan is still messaging Jiyuan. You two are truly fated. How much you must have missed me during those 10 years. Congratulations, ZHNG Shirming, you were able to meet her earlier this time. Things are progressing better than I imagined. Zheng Shirming and PMing went out on location again, alone. Now all that's left is to sort out this irritating fate. I'll support you to enjoy your new life. Suddenly someone called out. Jiyuan, let's go get coffee. My treat. Jiyuan, come with us. Buzhong declined the coffee, and took out his card again. You 3 use this. The break time won't be over for a while. I'll take you to eat something delicious. Shirming was completely shocked after learning Minghan's fantasy. We're not even dating, when did this happen? We were just playing around. Meanwhile, when Shirming found out Minghan was leaving, Shirming, you know, right? If my brother is going to get married, there's a lot to do. My mom and Jiyuan are just temporarily upset. Frozen like a steamed bun, didn't you say you would accompany me today? I'll talk to them and they'll make up soon. Just as Shirming thought Minghan was going to break up with him, Ling Huan said with a serious face, we're not even dating, when did this happen? We were just playing around. Aren't you thinking the same thing? See you tomorrow night then. Anyway, no matter what, you're going to marry Jing Jiyuan. I will never let you two get married. Meanwhile, Zhi called Jiyuan. Did ZHNG Shirming ask for JNG Taixing's phone number? Jiyuan also remembered. JNG Taiching, the cool and refreshing image like a big tree in the countryside. Zheng Shirming asked for JNG Kiching's phone number at this time yesterday. I have to prepare in advance. Beside him, Jiyuan handed the report to Buzhong. He was hesitating whether to tell Buzheng. For some reason, Jiyuan felt she could trust this man. Unexpectedly, as soon as Jiyuan said, "Can I use you like last time?" Buzheng suddenly said, "As long as it's for Jing Jiyuan, you can use me however you like." Meanwhile, Jiyuan was on her way home, when she suddenly heard someone call her. "I didn't expect you to contact me, so I came right away. Didn't you pretend not to know me at the alumni reunion?" Meanwhile, Minghan's face darkened as he looked at the man in front of him. "He won't answer my calls, but he meets other men at the door of his house." Suddenly, there was a knock on the window. Sherming was actually looking at Minghan with a smile. "That man is our former classmate. They have been meeting since the last reunion. You think he's the only one? The owner of the coffee shop downstairs of our company is also someone Hes liked since school. They've liked each other since then. Isn't that enough? You couldn't reach Jiyuan on the day of the reunion, right? Everyone is talking about their daughter's fate. Didn't Jiyuan's mother run away with someone else? If her mother was like that, how can her daughter be any different? Because he is my friend, I held back, but I can't hide it from you anymore. Let's go somewhere else. Even if you continue to stay here, it will be awkward. Brother, just have fun with me, okay?" Jiyuan also realized that Zheng Sherming had indeed come to the reunion. Meanwhile, JNG Taiching held up his phone. "Look, you even told me the address. Someone impersonated me and sent you a message. Although it's not my fault, I apologize to you on his behalf. You can leave." Unexpectedly, JNG Taiching was furious after hearing this. "Are you playing with me, calling me here and then telling me to leave? You little brat have really grown up. Stop pretending to be so innocent. Come and have fun with me. Brother will buy you lots of delicious food. Just be quiet and let's go. I've already said that I have nothing to do with this. Why won't you let go of me?" And just at the critical moment, JNG Taiching was suddenly stopped. It was Buzheng who said from behind, "I'm Jing Jiyuan's boyfriend." Unexpectedly, JNG Taiching became even more out of control after hearing this. "You say you are that brat's boyfriend? Let go of me while I'm still being nice." Buzheng became even angrier. He forcefully grabbed his hand, and threw JNG Taiching to the ground. "You almost dislocated my shoulder. If it really is dislocated, you can contact me." Jiyuan was very scared just now. Amazingly, she was no longer afraid. Standing behind this man, I feel like I can fight back too. Jiyuan blushed slightly. "Thank you, Buzheng. Miss Jing Jiyuan was just using me. I asked you to do this." As Buzheng stopped the car, Jiyuan hesitated. "This isn't a hotel. Because that guy knows Miss Jing Jiyuan's address, you should stay here tonight. He'll come pick you up tomorrow morning." Jiyuan stared blankly at Buzheng. "Didn't you ask me to pretend to be your boyfriend? Which boyfriend would send his girlfriend to a hotel, and then leave her there alone? If you say so, leaving your girlfriend alone at a hotel is also strange." Jiyuan blushed after she finished speaking. "What am I even saying? Didn't you bring me here? Didn't you say it was strange to leave your girlfriend alone in a hotel? Time is short. 2 rooms, please." 2 adjacent rooms. Unexpectedly, Jiyuan was flustered. "If you think 1 room is better, then 1 room it is." Buzheng was a little at a loss. "I didn't know you would stay too. Then I won't disturb you tonight." Who would have thought that Buzheng kindly brought Jiyuan dinner, and Jiyuan ended up stepping on Buzheng's foot with a slipper. After Jiyuan and Buzheng said goodnight, Buzheng didn't go into his room. Instead, he went to meet with a group of men in black. "Boss, we've taken care of it. He won't dare to show up near there again. Thank you for your hard work. And I told you not to call me boss, call me Mr. Lin. You're not gangsters." But Mr. Lin, the guy who caused trouble earlier, came over. Zheng Sherming and that woman were with him. Buzheng immediately understood. So it was Zheng Sherming who did it. He must have impersonated Miss Jiyuan and called that man over. And Miss Jiyuan must have realized that, which is why she asked for my help. Buzheng looked at his watch. It's already o'clock. Buzheng's face darkened and he panicked. "Oh no, I didn't bring Miss Jiyuan's meal." The moment Buzheng knocked on Jiyuan's door, he regretted it. "I should have eaten outside first." As the door opened, Jiyuan was seen in her pajamas. "I just took a shower." "What's up?" Buzheng blushed immediately. "Didn't you have dinner? Is there any food you particularly like?" Jiyuan suddenly said, "I like pork soup with chives, sauce, and pickled radish. It's really delicious." Suddenly, a goose feather landed on Jiyuan's head. Jiyuan instantly became flustered, but just as Buzheng was about to help her, Jiyuan suddenly stumbled, grabbing Buzheng's collar. With her weight, Buzheng was pulled against the wall. The room was very quiet. All that could be heard was the sound of their heartbeats. After what just happened, Jiyuan lay in bed with her eyes closed, thinking about Buzheng's words. And Buzheng wasn't much better. He kept tossing and turning in bed. Both of them seemed to have trouble falling asleep. As a result, Jiyuan didn't sleep all night. Isn't Buzheng tired? He still eats breakfast so elegantly early in the morning. Just as Jiyuan was going to see what food there was, Buzheng suddenly gave Jiyuan a plate of food. Shouldn't boyfriends be the ones getting food? You asked me to pretend to be your boyfriend. You said yesterday, but you didn't say when it would end. How long do you plan to keep up the act? Buzheng smiled after hearing this. I was joking. Miss Jiyuan, please enjoy your breakfast. Jiyuan suddenly said to Buzheng. Buzheng, you look like a dog when you smile. You know, those big, cute dogs. Big, smart, and loyal, those beautiful dogs are amazing. Jiyuan suddenly realized what she had said. Just as she was about to explain, Buzheng interrupted her. Let's not talk about that. Have you found a place to live yet? Zion said she has a really nice place. She said she used to live there. This is the nice place I told you about last time. You can move in the same day you sign the contract. Jiyuan also thought this apartment was great. I need to move out of that dangerous place as soon as possible. Thanks to Zion for helping me. There's our security here, and there are surveillance cameras everywhere. The security facilities are also very good. The apartment faces south, the property fees are reasonable, and the landlord is very easy to talk to. Not only did they lower the rent, but they also allowed us to move in immediately. Jiyuan repeated twice, I know. Let's go sign the contract right away. With Zion's help, Jiyuan found a new home. I'm moving, but you can rest assured. Zion, how did you know about such a nice place? This complex is great. I used to go to school around here. Jiyuan asked, which school did you graduate from? Zion was shocked after Jiyuan spoke. You and Director Liu went to the same school. You've never met. You should have run into each other. Meanwhile, Minghan arrived at Jiyuan's previous residence, not answering my calls and not contacting me. Do you really have another man? Suddenly, a man's voice came from inside. You. Minghan panicked. You're that guy, right? You're with Jiyuan. With a violent knock, the door was opened. Which punk is making a ruckus in the middle of the night? I'm already exhausted from moving. Seeing how strong he was, Minghan immediately backed down. The woman who lived here before. The man chuckled. That's why she ran away. I should have followed her that day, and taught her a lesson. Jiyuan, you moved without telling me. I should have followed you that day, and taught you a lesson. After calling Jiyuan, Minghan kept yelling at her. It seems he already went to look for her. Luckily, I moved. Suddenly, Jiyuan's stomach growled. Her phone also rang. It was Buzheng who ordered pork soup for Jiyuan. As the door knocked, Jiyuan didn't expect the delivery person to be Buzheng, and there was a puppy beside him. His name is Xiaopang, and I'm his owner. Just as Jiyuan was confused, Buzheng said, I'm staying next door to Miss Jiyuan.